Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Lasting Legacy. I am your host, Evan Herman, my co-host, Stephen Gunn.
Hey, guys.
And we have individuals that are going to be just crazy fun to interview. Who are we watching and interviewing, and what is this all about?
Well, one owns a lemur, and the other one is a fanatical, awesome State Farm insurance agent in the area. Brian Smith and Arthur Greeno, authors of Breaking Conformity. They're gonna have a great time with us.
Right.
We're gonna have lots of laughs, but some really good nuggets of wisdom of how you can make a difference in your community and leave a lasting legacy. Don't go anywhere, come right back.
Welcome back to another episode of Lasting Legacies. I'm Evan Herman. This is my co-host, Stephen Gunn.
Hey, guys.
And today we got Arthur Greeno and Brian Smith, authors of the book, Breaking Conformity. And Arthur, why is your name first on the book?
Because...
It's alphabetical.
Oh, no.
A-B.
Actually, I think it's because technically my name is first because I wrote another book. And so that's kind of...
How about pre-published author?
Yeah, that's how they do it.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
And I won the bet.
That's good. Well, tell us a little about yourselves. I mean,
Yeah.
we know you guys, obviously, but tell us to our audience. Tell us about yourselves.
I'm a pretty simple guy. I work. We work. I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Things and stuff, as we call it. I have 3 kids. I've got Legend. He's 9. I think he's watching us here today. And then Maverick and Sophia. So lots of kid things,
Awesome.
Lots of school stuff. And then we say we work at night. Arthur and I work at night, usually. We joke all the time. A lot of the people that we do projects with or work with, we'll call them at like 8 o'clock and we get their voicemail. We're like, what? That's kind of weird.
8 o'clock's early. It's like 11 o'clock, 11:30, we're like texting.
We're always texting. So you get the kids to bed and then start back to the addiction of projects and things and stuff.
Okay. Arthur?
During the day, I work with Chick-Fil-A. I've been with Chick-Fil-A for 30 years. I have the store at 71st and Garnett and Woodland Hills Mall here in town. And that's what I do during the day. And throughout that time, my job is to teach, inspire, and serve, whatever that looks like, whether it's an organization, writing books, just whatever, maybe being a dad, being a husband, whatever that may be.
So how many kids do you have?
I have 6 kids. So that's a whole different, episode.
Episode right there.
Yeah.
How did you guys come to work, get to know each other? How did you start working together? And how did you come to writing a book together? I mean, how is that?
Yeah, someone asked me the other day how Arthur and I became friends, and I don't really remember. In the market, and this may happen with you guys too, you kind of gravitate towards people. At least that was my experience. And so a couple of years ago, I started looking for leaders and guys that I could catch up with and maybe get some help from and mentorship from. And so I started looking for people noticeably older than me. I'm just kidding.
No, he's not.
And so I think that's how it started.
Sure.
And we're always trying to encourage people. And I heard this before I walked in here today. If you're not getting help and helping, it's going to be really hard to run a successful business, in my opinion. Yeah. And so, that's how it started, in my opinion. He may have a different story, and he might actually remember how it happened. But I was just looking for mentors, friends, people you could have real conversations with, and that's where we got to. The book part, the book started years ago. I was asked years ago to start to put down on paper the sales process, the conversation, how to do it more fun. It's so typical when you go to get sales training, and so we wanted to change it up. Well, the tricky part of it is I'm all of one way. I'm a very known to be a certain flavor, and
Bitter?
fun was my word. So as I started thinking through these topics, our book is about myths. So if you've ever read it, what Arthur and I've done is taken some of the most popular myths there are and break them down in a sarcastic but aggressive way, to put truth into them. The funny thing about myths, when people try to use those myths, is they're temporary mindsets. Yeah. Well, we're trying to show that they're not true, but here's how you can really do it.
Right.
And as I got to thinking, is if I did a book that aggressive and that direct, it might be funny or it might be really hardcore for some, like a boiler room type of feel, but it wouldn't have pillows on it. You know, we've got to be able to lead as well. And so I started pitching the idea to Arthur around, you know, Chick-Fil-A, especially, you know, his organization here locally is very well known for customer service, for leading through integrity. And I thought, you know what, we need to mix that in. If we can have a sales process mixed with leadership and a feel. And actually, through that, someone that helped us design the book actually, I think, felt that. And that's how the story came about, you know, through an overwhelming mentorship, and the book is what it's about.
Awesome. So, well, that sounds like we got a lot to talk about. So we're going to take a break here for our sponsors. We'll be right back.
This program is made possible by the generous support of the Demand Project, a nonprofit organization fighting to eradicate sex trafficking and the sexual exploitation of children. To find out how you can help, please visit thedemandproject.org today.
Could your business or organization benefit from TV advertising? KGEB Tulsa TV 53 broadcasts from the campus of Oral Roberts University and reaches the greater Tulsa metro 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Contact us for more info at 918-488-5300 or visit kgebamerica.com/sales.
We're back here with our awesome guest that wrote this book, Breaking Conformity, Arthur Greeno, Bryan Smith. I have a few questions here about your book in regards to a couple of the myths that just dissect them for me and why you chose them, and just a brief snippet about those chapters. Failure is not an option as one myth, and then the other myth here is if I can do it, you can do it. So take one each.
Well, let's kind of start with some of this was as we were looking at this book.
Right.
You know, we kind of had the mature author here.
Oh, I can totally see that.
And so as we were talking about some of these myths, some of them were showing up in our business more than others. And so Bryan actually, when he first was talking to me, we were talking about the book. That was actually, I'm going to let him lead on the very first one, because that was one that it seemed to just sit very awkward.
Sure, yeah.
You didn't like, you're mad.
Yeah, failure's not an option drives me crazy. You'll hear a lot of people out in the marketplace generally like to deliver that myth as a confidence builder. You know, they'll go to their
Burn
team.
your boats.
Yeah, everyone, get your pitchforks, that type of thing.
Failure's not an option.
Failure not an option is a overwhelming myth, because the first readily available option is always failure. Most people actually start their project, their business, their challenge from a place of failure. I mean, when you start a business, the general person always starts almost negative.
Right.
They've maybe saved some money, but they probably borrowed it. They have some relationships and some connections, but they're having to put a lot of money in, a lot of effort in. So it doesn't have to be just money. It can be time away from your wife, kids, family, spouses.
Right.
So almost everyone starts from at least a small negative. So you're actually starting from what the world would call a failure. What do we do to people when they open a new business? What's your first thought, especially when someone says they open a first business?
You turn a profit.
You may not say it. You know what mine is?
No.
Well, they're going to fail in 3 to 5 years. Because that's the projection, right? We always talk about, in your mind, you're thinking, are they even going to make it? The overwhelming thing in our society is when people start a new business is not how good they're going to do, it's when they're going to close.
Right.
And so failure's not an option is one of those topics that's really easy to talk about, because I always like to people know it's always the first available option. And likely, it's going to be the one that most people think that you're going to have.
Yeah, and it's easy to gravitate there, because, people expected it. You know what, I'm going to prove them right.
Sure. See, the overwhelming piece of the book here is not to be negative. We've had people ask, well, why are you being so sarcastic about it? And it's like, we're being real about it.
Right.
But if you read the message, this is how we can tell if people read the message or not, is right after the myth, we're also going to describe how you win. We're going to describe how you don't do the temporary thought process, which is failure's not an option. Let's do good this month. No, let's do good this quarter, this year.
Right. Don't fall trapped to thinking of short term like that, thinking long term and looking ahead.
Sure.
Yep.
That's good. Well, what
was the second one?
So the second one was, and I love this one.
If I can do it, anyone can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And sometimes I'm just like, when I hear people say that, I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Can you?
Right.
Yeah, they tend to leave out a lot of pieces of that. If I can do it, anyone can do it, you know. And at Chick-Fil-A, a lot of people are like, if you just open the doors at Chick-Fil-A,
right,
you're gonna have everything's gonna fall in place.
Right.
Well, when I started with Chick-Fil-A back in 1988, that wasn't the case. In fact, I mean, I was making $20,000 a year, as an owner of a business, and my wife and I were given plasma. And we were for Christmas presents, and the guy didn't believe us. He was like, "You're not the owner of Chick-fil-A. You can't be." And I was like, "Just because you own a business doesn't mean it makes money."
Right.
And so, but the reality is that is a myth, because the truth is that those people may not be willing to put in the time it's going to take,
right,
to be in there, to work 100 hours a week, to do whatever it takes to make it work. Yep. Anyone can open a business, but can anyone make it? Not so much.
Well, that's what we want people to believe. We hear a lot of people tell, they'll get up on a stage and they'll say, if I can do it, anyone can. That's not true. There could be anywhere from that person inherited where they're at, right, to all the way to they're not even far enough into it to even know if they've been there, if
right,
they've gotten where. So sacrifice is huge. I wanted to circle back a little bit and help you guys with 1988, though. We were about, 9 years old, and the Back to the Future series was being made. So I just wanted to help you guys with that.
Yes.
When you say 1988, it's like, when
critical.
was that?
All right.
Yeah, we're out of time to hear, folks.
We are actually going to pause right there. That's a good place to pause and hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Matt Moore, president of the Young Businessmen of Tulsa. I pray that this program is a blessing to you and that it inspires you to grow in both your business and personal life. Did you know that many people, both young and old, hold a mentality that their success is all about them? When in reality, we know that our success is dependent on how well we can serve and meet the needs of others. Owning a business is a huge responsibility, and success is very important for not only you, but also your employees and your community. If our community is going to continue to thrive, we need to be proactive in promoting a business community that's focused on being excellent stewards in all areas of life so we can create lasting legacies. Today, we have a fantastic opportunity in front of us that could really take our city and community to the next level. Each program we air has the potential to reach over 1 million households. But in order to do this, we need to reach an extra $1,600 in monthly reoccurring giving. YBT is looking for two types of partners, those who can pledge $9 a month and those who can pledge $19 a month. Not only will we continue to share our Christ-centered message, but in order to keep with the spirit of YBT, a portion of each monthly pledge that you give will benefit our monthly Pay It Forward projects in order to help give back to our city. If you decide to pledge $19 a month, we will have your name scroll at the bottom of the screen on each program as a proud supporter. Every pledge is a tax-deductible donation. Will you help me make a bigger difference in our city? YBT has a track record of creating better leaders, and we have raised well over $145,000 for community projects since our conception. Join us as a co-producer as we take this message and program across the airwaves. Help us steward a message that will literally change people's lives forever. To make your pledge, please visit www.patreon.com/YBT.
Welcome back to this episode of Lasting Legacies. This is Stephen Gunn. I'm Evan Herman. We got Brian Smith and Arthur Greeno having a really fun time with you guys here.
Right.
In our last episode, we were talking about the myth, if anyone can do it, how does that myth go?
If I can do it, anyone
Yes,
can.
that myth right there. One of my personal stories or journeys is when I was doing real estate or currently doing real estate, when I got into the business like 5 years ago, I thought I could have automatic success. And I had this unrealistic expectation of what I could achieve. We're taught to strive big, to reach for the stars and, set your level of expectation high. But what I figured out is that, in the terms of space aeronautics, I was trying to launch my rocket before I even built it. And I say all that to say, with experience in business, it's like dissect that, add nuggets. I don't know where I was going with that, but I felt like it was important, and I felt like you guys could
Well, I
give
think
me
that's
some wisdom.
I think that's very common, actually. I think, because that's what they pitch out there. You know,
Right.
whether it's real estate or insurance or any business at all, they're like, oh, all you got to do is open your doors and it happens, but it doesn't. There's
Right.
so many factors involved, and one of the things that when we talk about it in the book is get in there, start working it, and just understand. As long as you understand, it's going to happen. It's going to take longer than we expected.
Right.
It's going to be harder than we expected. That is business.
Yeah, there's too many variables to make it a simple 1, 2, 3, Evan. You know, when you're opening a business, they want to make it as simple as, find a space and get an SBA loan.
Right.
Well, it's just not that easy. And an SBA loan for a lot of people is not even easy. So I would always tell a person like you don't get discouraged about the fact that it's not a step 1, 2, 3. Try to picture in your mind all the variables that it takes. The most important ones, in my opinion, are going to come more from inside.
Right.
Determination and mindset, your ability to sacrifice, so the heart, and ultimately what you try to do with that part. If you have those pieces, which a lot of your competitors don't, then you surround it with the process. And so when you start to look at successful people or kind of successful people or even a facade of success, what you're going
Right.
to start to find is things are missing. So maybe some competitors have been in business longer than you. Well, just by part of the years and the volume, they're doing better than you, right?
Absolutely.
And then sometimes you're going to find people that have been in business maybe equally as long as that person, but they don't have the success they do, so maybe they're missing the process, maybe they're missing the inner part. I would tell you to start with the insides, determination, sacrifice, heart, what you're willing to do to make your business go, and then start to add on it. Add the network, add authenticity, add sincerity, add volume. And as you start to add these things and put them all together, now you're forming what it really takes to make it past that standard of 3 to 4 years of a failure rate.
Well, I think that add into that, and I think we touched on this in the book, but who are you surrounding yourself with?
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you're surrounding yourself with other high-level guys, they're going to sit down with you and go, oh, man, I remember when I was there. I remember when that happened to me. And
Right.
really, as weird as this sounds, hearing how everyone sucked, it helps us feel better.
It
And it helps
does.
motivate us to where we need to go.
Right.
Because everyone that I know in business has had a time when they're frustrated with it and they think that, I'm ready to quit.
But you got to be ready to make really long-lasting relationships that are going to benefit your business. It usually starts with no business benefit at all. Some of my best friends or people that I would call mentors, be it Arthur or a past guest like Sean Copeland, these people became friends
Yeah.
before we benefited from each other.
That's right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was some advice I got from someone else that was a mentor role, was like, hey, if you want to have something real, it needs to be real before there's ever anything there. And then if it develops, it does.
That's right.
Right.
It may not develop with everyone. I've met plenty of people that I thought, man, I wish they would become friends with me. And they just don't. Well, then I get older now, and I find myself people saying, about influence I might have, and I start thinking, man, I didn't even know that was there. We're always cutting up, messing around, and now we're starting to move into positions of influence, and so we're being influenced, and we're influencing, which is a very pivotal place in the growth of your business.
That's great. Awesome. We're going to hear some more from Brian and Arthur. Don't go anywhere. Come right back.
Are you looking to get married? Suit Connection is having an awesome wedding special. Buy 4 suits or tuxedos at $200 or more and receive free dress shirts and ties. Search for them on Facebook by typing Suit Connection Tulsa or stop by at 61st and Sheridan in Tulsa.
Do you suffer with migraines, seizures, neuropathy, dementia, or movement disorders? Discover an independent concierge neurology practice with treatment from a Christian perspective by Dr. George Gonzalez.
Welcome back to Lasting Legacies. I'm Stephen Gunn, my co-host Evan Herman. We're here with Arthur and Brian, having a great time today.
You should see the conversations off camera.
We're getting parent advice from Brian Smith here, and we're going
It's
to
good.
shift channels
It is
here.
good. Well, Brian, you were talking a little bit of kind of some really good nuggets of wisdom for
me.
For Evan, and those in Evan's shoes as a business owner, kind of making that difference in the local community and in your culture. of your business, your network as well. What sort of kind of conformities, maybe from the book, kind of some of those principles, can a business owner break in terms of making an impact and leaving that legacy?
You know, here's the thing. I say this a lot. I tell people this a lot. People are always going to try to tell you what you are and are not capable of based upon their own talent, ability, and vision.
Right.
And it sounds like a quote because it is. I wrote it that way because it sounds better when you have a quote, right? You know, a dash Bryan. But think about, dissect that conversation and start to think about what we've been talking about with legacy. You know, if you were to talk to Arthur and I and we were to tell you about legacy, I bet if you separate it, it's going to be similar. Arthur's legacy is going to sound better because he has more experience with it. I'm still kind of trying to figure that out a little bit, but I can tell you what it's not. It's no longer fame and fortune. Those things have gone away. Are they fun? They are, but they're temporary. Yeah. And we're talking about making your business grow. You've got to think forward about why you're doing it. Let's not get cliche. I can't stand the find your why stuff because that's temporary too.
It really is.
What's your why? And I'm going to set up a tripod at your house and try to get you to sign up. That's not what I'm looking for here. Why is important, but we need to go farther out. Legacy is a huge deal, and Arthur would probably be similar, and he'll tell you what he thinks. But to me, legacy is being able to look my kids, my family, my friends, mentors in the face later and say we've done it right. Good. We've done good things. Now, did those things produce income and opportunities? Likely they did. But maybe they didn't. Yeah. But it's something that we can actually go on the rest of our life with feeling good about. I said something yesterday to someone, whoever makes a review or talks about later how much they saved $3 or $4 on something. But how many times do you tell people the story about the experience, how it changed you? We were talking about in my business, I never hear about someone saved $4 with the competitor. Here's what I hear about how terrible the process was, this and that. Or when they're bragging on us, it's never about we saved them a couple of dollars. It's that we went out of our way to do things big. So it's just more proof that people aren't just in hunt of money savings.
It's less about the product and more about the experience and how they really took away from that. I know that what's been said that you tell 3 people a great experience and maybe 10 people a bad experience.
Oh, you think it's that high?
That's on average, right?
Yeah. If it's a bad experience, I think it's like 50 people. They're going to go on Facebook like that and let everyone know how bad it was. You know, but unless you're having an amazing experience, you know, a lot of times people don't Facebook about it. So
that's very.
So next time you're at my store and you have a great experience, you know, go ahead and Facebook about it.
You know, I think I did last time I was at your store.
Actually, you did.
I did, because what happened is I was trying to decide to go in between your restaurant and another competitor. I can't remember which one.
Another Chick-Fil-A?
No, not a Chick-Fil-A, like McDonald's or somebody. I don't know.
Seriously.
But the line was so long. I was like, there's no way I can get this in time, like the food, and get out. It's like, but you know what? I really want that chicken sandwich.
They move it fast, though.
From the time I pulled up with a line wrapped around the building, it took 7 minutes for me to get my food.
You know how hard it is for me?
That's consistent.
You know how hard it is for me not to ask for free food every single time I'm in the drive-thru? What would you like, sir? Arthur's my best friend. The usual.
Actually, I've trained them that if anyone says that, then they charge them double.
Tell me what's good.
I'm like, they know we're not friends if that's the case.
Extra.
That's funny.
Well, we are going to take a pause again, and we'll be right back with our last little wrap-up here of Lasting Legacies. Don't go anywhere.
This program is made possible by the generous support of OklahomaBanner.com. Oklahoma Banner is a locally owned company providing custom-designed full-color banners shipped directly to you. They offer a wide variety of banner products. Visit OklahomaBanner.com today.
It's been said that life is about capturing moments, so I encourage you to capture this moment right here and take a picture of my contact information to reach out to me later. It is most important when you find a real estate agent to find one with the ability to communicate with all involved, knowledgeable about the real estate market, and one's ability to negotiate contracts. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home within the next year, reach out to me. I'd love to see how I can help you reach your goals. Thank you so much. We're back here with our latest episode of Lasting Legacies. Co-host Stephen Gunn, Evan Herman, Arthur Greeno, Bryan Smith, and that is our NBA lineup for tonight. Guys, we typically end the show by asking how we can add value to you guys. And so what are you guys currently doing business-wise, whether it's together, separately, that we can add value to? I'm right here because we're going first. Brian's fielded the last question or two, so. No?
Secret.
Oh.
We're not allowed to tell those ones.
Okay.
So just eat more chicken.
Eat more chicken.
That was it. All right, come on, Brian, you can fill the rest in.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Arthur and I, that's such a hard question. You know, you'll find us usually, if we're promoting our business, it's because it's a time. Yeah. But I think him and I get along so well because we know when it's time. Mm-hmm. But really, when we do things like this, ultimately, we both have a passion to. I'm not going to get weird with you and say just help people all the time.
Sure.
You know, because that gets overused.
Right.
But we really enjoy the process of seeing someone kind of get started and more and more and more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We both like the idea of engagement with people and winning. I mean, a team, an individual. So I think in moments like this, I like to think about with the book, you know, we would love for people to jump on Amazon or either one of our websites, arthurgreeno.com or iambriansmith.com, and buy the book. Do that. That would help us. Review us on the book. Give it to your friends and family. Use it as a business card. That's what I would like. Yeah. You know,
we're both available on social media, and so, you know, I think the book is great, but there's still sometimes when people struggle, they're reading and going, okay, that doesn't fit this puzzle piece exactly. And so if you're stuck, then reach out to us. I mean, we're here local. We do a lot of things locally, and so reach out to us. We'll be happy to engage.
Say for the audience, how can they go to hold of you guys? What's the website? What's the best way to get it?
ArthurGreeno.com, right?
Yeah.
IamBriansmith.com. Okay. We're both on social media. I am Bryan Smith.com. Arthur is ARTHUR. I always want to call you an author, Greeno.
I'm an author, Greeno. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn.
You can see Arthur's post about his lemur on Facebook.
You can.
Right.
You can.
We live on Facebook. When I say that, you can see our lives. I mean, Arthur and I don't put the promos out there. It's not weird.
Right.
It's weird. It's real.
Well, we'll put the information up there for our audience so they can see it. And we want to say thanks again for coming in. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It's been a great time. Friends, having friend time here together.
Sure.
Tune in next time for Lasting Legacies. And thanks so much for tuning in today. YBTOK.com for more information. And have a great day.